I'm just confused. Are all Christians going to be killed, period, if we don't get the mark? Yes, all Christians will be killed if they don't get the mark. If you live during the tribulation period, you are going to fall into one of these groups of people. You are either going to be a Christian and you're going to be killed for your faith, for the testimony that you have, or the word of God. Second group is a Christian, but you lose your faith during the tribulation and you decide to take the mark to save your life so you can buy and sell. Or three, you are of the nations, the Gentiles, atheists, any other religion. All three are going to be offered the mark, except for a small subsection in the group of the nations. And this small subsection will be the remnant. Now, this remnant God has chosen for whatever reason he decides, but this remnant was chosen to live throughout the tribulation and to be supernaturally hid and protected. And in my opinion, they will be saved for their testimony that they will have to the future generations to come who live in the millennial reign. But the book of Revelation says that the remnant will be carried on the back of eagle's wings, where they will be supernaturally hid, similar to what we see with Elijah when he was hiding in the woods by the brook and the ravens came and brought him food. Now, the people who are the remnant, they will be representations of Israel and of the nations. And also within this nations, you're going to have both Japheth and Ham. So all three will be present, similar to the story of the flood, where you have Ham, Shem, and Japheth in their bloodlines. And they will be carried on the back of eagle's wings during that short time when Satan is let loose, the dragon. And he goes to wage war on the rest of the saints that are remaining. Those are going to be the 6 seal martyrs. That is who the other martyrs in the 5th seal are waiting for, their brethren who will be killed as they were. And this remnant, after the Battle of Armageddon is over, they are going to come out wherever they are, whether it's in the rubble, in the rocks, and in the caves. But they are going to see this destruction and they're not really going to understand what's going on. The key thing to being a part of the remnant is they didn't know Jesus. They were never given that chance to know him, come to believe in him and have faith, and then lose their faith. So when they see all of this going on, the remnant is actually going to be the only ones who see this ensign on the mountain when Jesus comes after the Battle of Armageddon. And Jesus will be with the 144,000 who are singing a brand new song. And this song is similar to the Song of Moses, where the Song of Moses taught the children of Israel this song. And it was basically to remind them of the blessings of obedience and the curses of disobedience just before they walk into the promised land and they're entering this new covenant. So when the 144,000 are singing this new song, it's going to be to this remnant to tell them of this covenant that they are entering into as they are entering into the promised land of what will be in the millennial reign. And this remnant, they will rejoice because they were chosen to live and to be this generation one. And they get to live in Zion and they get to live peacefully. There won't be war anymore. And they won't even have to have walls around their city because they are protected by God. But they rejoice out of confusion because the true reward was the first resurrection. And I'm assuming being a part of the 144,000 is another reward in and of itself. But that's for like 0.00001% of the population. But the true reward is reigning as a king and a priest of God in that millennial reign, which you only get if you are a martyr for Christ or for the word of God or the testimony that you hold. And when the remnant come to Zion, to this ensign that they see, we will see the prophecy fulfilled from Isaiah, where Jesus will proclaim the gospel to them, who he is, what he came to do, and what he did, and what just happened, and now what they are going to be a part of. And when this remnant comes, it'll also be the fulfillment of the 2-stick prophecy that we see in Ezekiel, where way back in the Old Testament, you had the tribes of Israel were split up into the northern and the southern kingdom. In the prophecy of Ezekiel, the 2-stick prophecy, those 2 sticks, the northern and the southern kingdom, are going to come together to be one once more. That is, of course, coming together when they are all in Mount Zion, going towards the ensign, going towards Christ. So a quick rundown of the timeline if you come from this video. The rise of the first beast of Revelation starts the 5th seal. That is when the Roman Empire changes form into the 10 kings. These 10 kings will wage war on the saints, and the Antichrist is a part of this 10 kings. This war on the saints will last about 3.5 years, the first half of the tribulation. At the sixth seal marks the rise of the Antichrist. This is when the book of Daniel says that the little horn will take out two and he will rise above them all. That is when he breaks the covenant and he proclaims himself as God. And that would be the fulfillment of Daniel 9:27. When he breaks his covenant and proclaims himself as king, that starts the Great Tribulation. That is when the mark of the beast comes in. So all the other martyrs in the fifth seal, they technically were not given the mark of the beast, but they were being taken. And it was that war, the war on the saints, that starts the tribulation that's all starting to kick off. So when the sixth seal happens and the Antichrist finally shows, that's when the remnant will be taken and hidden, but the dragon will still be let loose and he will still rage war on the rest of the saints remaining, those who know Jesus and have faith. Because the book of Daniel says that he knows, the Antichrist knows who follows his covenant and who doesn't. So again, to answer your question, everyone who knows Jesus Christ will be tried in the tribulation. They will either keep their faith and die, or they will lose their faith and take the mark. And another little tidbit, if you've made it into the video this far, I have another video that I did on this remnant that will walk into the millennial reign. And I have a theory that this remnant is all children. So their parents might have taken them out of this situation, but just like we see with the Exodus and with the children of Israel going through the 40-year journey through the desert, the generation that went into the wilderness birthed children in the wilderness, and that generation that entered in did not exit. They all died in the wilderness. There were only 2 people that left the Exodus and entered into the promised land, and that was Joshua and Caleb. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's correct. So it was the children who were born in that wilderness season were the ones who were chosen to enter into that covenant. So if you found this helpful, follow me for more. And if you have any thoughts or questions, pop them in the comments and we'll continue our discussion. Until next time, God bless.